Assalamu alaikum, my dear friends. I welcome all of you for the English classes. Today's English class is for the 10th, and the topic that we are going to discuss is the poem Miracles. We are going to study the textual questions. The first question is: the usual view of a miracle is that it seldom happens. What does Walt Whitman thinks about the miracles? To Walt Whitman, a miracle is not a thing that happens unexpectedly or very early. To him, each and everything of the world that brings us joy and peace is a miracle. To him, every human being he meets with love is a miracle. Every object of the nature he sees around him is a miracle. So, so the hitman discusses the miracle. Everything which gives us peace and pleasure, happiness is a miracle. And any event of our life which we meet day to day lives is a miracle. Number second question is: when you read the poem, you notice that some miracles are from nature, others are connected with people and the city life. Make a list of these. Notice how Hitman moves from one to another. And the answer is: Hitman finds miracles everywhere, in the world of man, in the city life, and in the nature. For example, he sees miracle in the people he talks to, miracles in people he dines with, and miracles in the people sitting opposite to him in a subway train. He finds miracle in the city life also. He walks in the streets of Manhattan and sees the miracles. He looks at the roofs of the houses and sees the miracle. And then there is the world of nature, the trees in woods, the honeybees moving around their hives, the animals feeding in the fields, and the beauty of the sunset and that of the new moon, the silent and the bright stars. All these are miracles to the poet. He moves from one to the another with a graceful ease. He enjoys each one of the poet, them equally, though they all seem to him miracle. Yet he finds in each an individuality of its own. Each has its own distinct identity. So the poet in this question describes the natural miracles as well as the people miracles. In the people miracles, he discusses that wherever he goes, he meets with the people, he sees the buildings, he dines or he talks with the people. These are all miracles. In case of nature, he discusses the nature miracles as the trees in the forests, the natural environment, the sun, the moon, everything, sunset, everything is a miracle. He sees the stars in nature. Whatever he finds in this universe is all miracle for him. Number third question is: what do the lines about the Manhattan and the subway car tell us about the hitman's feeling for the people? Answer: these lines show that the poet has no prejudice against town life or its people. He feels as much at home in the streets of Manhattan as among the objects of the nature. He sees the miracles as he runs his eye along the roofs of the houses. He sees the miracle in the people sitting opposite to him in the subway train. He sees the miracles in the people sitting with him at the table for the dinner. All this shows what Hitman is great lover of the people wherever he may. So in these questions, the Hitman says he loves the people life. He meets the people. He eats with the people. He enjoys the travel with the people. All these happinesses when he walks in the streets of Manhattan They are all miracles for him. And the question here is, have you ever come across a miracle in your life? If yes, write an account of it in the 150 words. I must admit that I am not as cosmic in my vision as Hitman was. To me, a miracle is a happening that is beyond reasons to explain. In my life, too, such a miracle had happened. Once I was at a railway platform waiting to board a train. When the train was steaming in, the people began to jostle each other in order to get nearer to the edge of the platform. Thus, they hoped to be the first to get in. As this was happening, someone pushed me and I felt tight in front of the train that was hardly a yard away. I knew my end has come and knew nothing was happened after that. When I came to myself, I found I was lying in a hospital. I was told that I had fallen right in the middle of the rails and the train had passed over me without giving me even a scratch. Not less than a miracle, I think. So he discusses that the miracle, how he was waiting in a platform, and when the train approached, he was pushed and he fell between the rail tracks and the trail passed over him. And when he was hospitalized and he get the consciousness, he find himself alive. So it was a miracle for him. So here is the another question. Are you waiting for a miracle to happen in your life? Write about your feelings in 150 words. All of us hope for a miracle to happen when we are caught in a terrible, dangerous situation. I too am waiting for such a miracle to happen. My uncle is a doctor. He is a very noble person. A few months ago, he had a fit and fell down unconscious. He was at uh, at once taken to the hospital. After a lot of tests, it was found that he had developed a cancer in his brain. He is being given a radium treatment. Doctors have little hope for his survival. His condition is going from bad to worse. Usually, I do not believe in the talismans and any supernatural powers, but I love my uncle more than I love myself. For his sake, I have tried all these things also. I pray in my heart of peace and that some miracle happen and my uncle's life saved. So, in this question, it is talked about his. He is talking about his uncle, which was suffering from the brain tumor, and his conditions were becoming worse and worse. So he prays Almighty Allah or the Creator that please help his uncle to recover. So he waits for the miracle to happen. And number second is, and the last question is that what are the images used by the poet? Images are the pictures produced in the mind by the use of typical words. Hitman has used a number of images in his poem. He has used such words that the image at once springs alive in our mind. Some of them are wade with naked feet along the beach, stand under trees in the woods, sit at a table at dinner with the rest, look at the strangers opposite me riding in the car, animals feeding in the fields. Thin curve of the new moon is in spring. Last question is that is there any rhyme scheme in the poem? Hitman did not follow any rhyme scheme in his poetry. He wrote in free verses. It is a poem without any regular rhyme or the rhythm. Thank you, my dear friends, for watching me.